In this age of AI, when it's so easy to perfect your image, polish your words, and clean up your digital persona, we strive so hard for perfection that it can actually become dull, bland to watch. How do we find the balance between being real and being raw? Today we explore how to stand in your own truth and how to use authenticity as a strength without crossing into harm.
Welcome back to Big Dreams and Little Things. I'm Maria Wronski-Ellis, singer, songwriter, educator, and author of the book The Mindful Songwriter.
And I'm Karina Kampe, singer, songwriter, and professional coach. Today's subject is authenticity. And for all of you, you can't see me, but I'm really authentic. I haven't showered. I'm here, unmakeup. I'm right here, sitting here, worked through the night. Hello, Maria.
Hi, Karina.
How are you?
Well, wow. It's a lot going on at the moment, isn't it?
It feels like we've been saying that for weeks.
We have been saying it for weeks, and I'm waiting for it to sort of calm down a bit. But I guess the reality of it is it won't.
But it will be different. Yeah. And today we are in a lot of work because we are preparing for the workshop tonight.
Yes,
so there's a lot of things that needs to be in line.
It's very exciting, though. I'm really looking forward to it.
And today we're talking about something that feels more vital than ever: authenticity. Is there a rebound, kind of a wave coming back? Like, Pamela Anderson from Baywatch, she has taken off all her makeup, and she was the poster girl for glam. Yeah. Is there a rebound wave going on? I don't know.
I really hope so. We're just painting these beautiful scenes of, our perfect life, but is that really authentic in most ways? In many cases?
I think human beings have always tried to show off a good side.
Of course.
But what is scary, I think, is that it comes off as being authentic, like it comes off as being the truth. I mean, we know a lot, of course, today, but young people really don't. They're so used to putting a filter on things.
Exactly. And I think that's, for me, is the scary thing. You don't understand that it's filters. That's not what that person looks like. Their life isn't perfect. What is that going to make you feel?
And then we have this side, too, with reality, where everything is supposed to be so raw and you have to, share all.
Yes.
And like that is authentic. And of course it is in one way, but it can also be too much.
Yes,
but
I think so too.
Let's jump into our storytelling for today, because we are going to continue to talk about this subject, of course. So tell us, what are we going to listen to today?
Well, this week we will share a story that I know touched me really deeply when it happened. A young girl standing up for what she really believed was right, even though she was being threatened to the point that she almost died. I think this is an amazingly strong person and someone I definitely admire a lot. And it's the story of Malala.
Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine being 15 years old. Imagine waking up and being told, you cannot go to school anymore because you're a girl. What would you do? Most of us at 15 just want to stay safe, to fit in, not to be noticed too much. But Malala Yousafzai wasn't like most teenagers. She loved learning. She loved her school. And she couldn't accept that her education and the education of millions of other girls would be stolen. So she began to speak out, quietly, anonymously, writing a blog for the BBC. A teenager's words describing the fear of walking to school while bombs fell, describing the loss of freedom, describing what it meant to have her world shrink overnight. But she kept writing, she kept telling the truth, and soon she started to appear in public. Cameras, interviews, a teenage girl with pigtails saying words no one else dared to say. Girls deserve an education. Authenticity is powerful, but it's not always safe. For Malala, it became dangerous. The Pakistani Taliban saw her as a threat. Imagine that, a 15-year-old girl with notebooks and ideas seen as more dangerous than soldiers with guns. On the 9th of October 2012, Malala was on a bus home from school when a gunman climbed on board. He asked her name, and then he shot her in her head. Most of us, if we survived something like that, would go silent. We would hide. We would bury our truth deep down, too afraid to let it out. But Malala, she came back louder. After months of recovery in England, she stood up again. On her 16th birthday, she stood before the United Nations. Her voice calm, steady, authentic. And she said, "One child, one teacher, one book, one pen can change the world." She didn't call for revenge. She didn't speak with hate. She spoke with authenticity, aligning her voice with her deepest values. She wanted every child, especially every girl, to have the chance to learn. And the world listened. That speech, that authenticity turned her into a global icon. At 17, she became the youngest Nobel Peace Prize winner in history. Malala's story reminds us authenticity isn't always about being raw for yourself. Sometimes it's about standing up for others, for millions of girls whose voices were silenced. She became the voice. Most of us will never face dangers like Malala, but we all face moments where being authentic feels risky. Saying what you really think in a meeting, posting something that isn't polished online, admitting to a friend, "I'm struggling." So let me ask you, where in your life are you tempted to hide? Where do you feel the pressure to polish, to perform, to play small? And what would it look like if you showed up more real? Not reckless, not oversharing, but congruent, aligned, and true. Because authenticity isn't about telling everything. It's about letting your words and your actions match your values. For Malala, that authenticity changed the world. And for you, well, it might change your relationships, your business, your art, your everyday life. Authenticity isn't always safe, but it is always powerful. And when it's practiced with care, with boundaries, and with courage, it doesn't just transform you. It gives others permission to show up real too. I think that's true heroism.
Yeah. The strength, and especially being a girl in that environment, it adds to the story, I think.
But I think it's so, wrong wording, but cool, that it is a girl. And it seems like young girls today are speaking up. I'm thinking of Greta Thunberg.
Yeah.
She was 15 or 16 when she spoke up and stood there in the UN saying, "Shame on you," to the men of the world. They have backbone. I mean, that's something fantastic.
And they're obviously coming from totally different environments.
Yes.
Someone brought up with in a super comfortable, well-known rich parents. And the other one is someone who's growing up quite in a different way.
But there is something about saying enough.
Yes, absolutely. I think the strength to have that when you're 15, was she?
Yeah.
I think that's incredible.
And that's something about teenagers. I mean, you have that burning fire.
You do.
I remember myself being a teenager. You would burn for things, and that is so great. We're supposed to do that. All the hormones are at their peak,
Yeah, they really are. And you want to try, you want to do different things. But it's so, for me, coming from the upbringing I've had, it's impossible to put myself in Malala's shoes.
Yes.
But what she did was unbelievable, heroic. It made such a difference to the world.
But it's when something comes from the inside.
Yeah.
It's heartfelt. It's I can't go any other way. I have to stand up for what I believe in.
Yeah.
Authenticity is also about being brave.
Yes. Yeah.
There's something about the little person stepping out on the big stage. And we can do that in our lives. It doesn't have to be big like that. It can be small things. You stand up for yourself or for someone else. It's not always about you. It can be about someone else, like Malala. I mean, she stood up for all girls and women.
Yeah.
I wonder who she has around her. I don't know anything about her parents or her friends, or if there's a community around her.
No.
Because that usually helps, of course.
We'll do some more research and find out for our reflection session,
yes,
I think.
let's do that.
Yeah.
Yes. But now, Of course, we want to know more about authenticity and the science behind it, because there is, it isn't just a flute.
It certainly is not. In psychology, self-determination theory tells us that autonomy, the freedom to act in line with your true self, is one of our 3 basic human needs. When people feel authentic, they're not only happier, they're also more resilient and creative.
Back in the 1990s, a group of Italian researchers in Parma discovered what they called mirror neurons. They were studying monkeys and noticed that the same brain cells fired when the monkey picked up a peanut and when it simply watched someone else pick up a peanut. And later studies showed humans have a similar mirror system. That's why we cry at the movies, when we get touched when someone sings from the heart, why we wince when someone stubs their toe. Our brains are wired to mirror what we see and feel in others. The system responds most strongly to what's real. A fake smile, a forced laugh, your brain knows. But the authenticity, that lights us up and it makes us feel connected.
But authenticity doesn't mean saying everything you think or feel. It means alignment. When your words and actions match your inner compass, people sense it. That's when you touch people and trust grows. Whether you're leading a country, a company, or your own creative business. Because when you're authentic, you don't just lead yourself better, you give others permission to be authentic and vulnerable too.
In leadership research, 3 big styles often get compared: transactional, transformational, and authentic leadership. Transactional leadership is about exchange. You do X, you get Y. It's clear and structured, but quite shallow. Transformational leadership is about vision and inspiration. Follow me, we'll change the world. Think Martin Luther King or Steve Jobs. It mobilizes people, but sometimes overlooks the individual. Authentic leadership is different. It's about congruence, leading from your values, being transparent, showing humanity. Not about being perfect, but about integrity. And studies show it builds deep trust and long-term loyalty. Tired of starting strong but losing momentum? Stop losing steam and start following through on your goals with people who've got your back. This fall, we're offering workshops each month using the ECTA method. Here's how it works. You're in charge of the goals that truly matters to you. You build skills systematically so follow-through becomes easier. You get support and mirroring that keep momentum alive, even when motivation runs dry. Next up is October 23rd, and our theme then is doing the right things, not just more things. Ever felt they've got 1,000 ping pong balls bouncing around in your head? In this workshop, we'll show you how to calm the chaos and keep momentum by focusing your energy where it counts most. And if that feels good, get ready for Ignite, our 3-month program designed to keep you moving forward consistently. It starts January 2026, and the waiting list is open now. More info and sign up at ectahub.net. That's ECTAHUB.net. Something that I'm thinking about is, where do authenticity end and exposure start? Is there a thin line there?
Yeah, we can see in the world that the reality TV is being sold as authentic, but so often it's really not about being real. It's about strategy, performance, and shock value. Think of shows like Paradise Hotel, Big Brother, or Survivor.
The format itself rewards scheming and screaming. You don't win by being authentic. You win by manipulating, by hiding your real self, by playing a part. And the bigger the fight, the louder the meltdown, the more airtime you get. That's really the truth.
It's true. And I think the danger is people are really encouraged to show their ugliest sides. And it becomes entertainment to others. And I think as viewers, we start to absorb it. We think, this is what authenticity looks like, being raw, angry, explosive. But I don't think that's authenticity. That's performance under pressure.
Yeah. But I want to be clear. I don't think I'm above it. I love watching Real Housewives of Beverly Hills or Vanderpump Rules. That's my bubblegum TV, you know. It can be fun. And I know that it's produced and under contract and all of that.
Yeah.
But I can't help but think that still they're pushed into drama. And they're even asked to cross lines and take off clothes for shock value, tell their deepest wounds for ratings. We have a few in Sweden, one that's actually songwriters and singers sitting in a room sharing their music, and the other people are doing versions of their music. And it's really, really pushed. They should start crying because of that interpretation and that kind of thing. And that can be very touching. It can, but it seems like once one person has done it, everyone has to cry, you know?
Yeah.
And I guess even more so on the real reality shows like Big Brother or Paradise Hotel, where, you know, you're watched 24 hours. And I think it gets dangerous. It influences society to become kind of numb.
Yeah, I can't say I'm a big fan of those shows or that I watch them. And that's probably because of a lot of those reasons. Being authentic doesn't mean you have to really show everything or spill everything about you, right? If you feel that it's too new, it's too raw and not ready, I'm speaking from an artist point or writer point or whatever you want to communicate, it's not going to feel good for you. And honestly, I also think it could even make people pull back instead of wanting to see what you're doing and lean in. And that's not fair to you, and it's not fair to them either.
No, it is really a thin line.
And
when I work with students on stage, singers, I always tell them, you know, stay personal, but keep your privacy.
Yes.
There's a difference. And exactly like you say, if you're in it, you experience it at this moment, like a heartbreak or whatever it is, or, you know, sorrow or death, you're not done processing it, then it shouldn't be on stage.
I totally agree with you. But I think it can be very difficult. I'm speaking, say, from an artist point of view. You're a singer and you are an authentic singer, but then you're pushed by the label to show more, to be more, because obviously that's going to appeal to a certain kind of audience or a broader audience. So sometimes I don't even think it's the person who are creating the art or whatever you're creating that is pushing that narrative. It's actually people behind you.
And there's also a crowd screaming more, give us more.
Exactly.
And they will always scream more, you know. And to get little glimpses of their lives, of course, but not the whole shebang.
No.
I don't think authenticity is about giving away every piece of yourself.
No, I agree.
I'm thinking of someone like Adele, for instance, as a big name. She goes away, you know. She does her thing and then she goes away. And I love that.
She does.
I don't know much about her private life, but she is great when she's doing her art.
I admire and really value that in an artist as well. I respect it a lot.
It's about congruence.
It is, definitely.
And what you do and say lines up with who you are and what you stand for.
Yeah.
If you don't believe it, nobody else will.
No.
So, just some thoughts that boundaries are part of authenticity. You decide what belongs to you. Time matters. Wait until you've processed before sharing publicly. It doesn't have to be long, but it can be just give it a minute. Not everything belongs on every stage. Share what aligns with your purpose, not just for effect. And here, of course, we come into business. You know, what are your values? Like for ECTA, we really want to create a better world with creative people in it.
Yeah, we want to make a change. Help people make a change for themselves. I was just thinking of something when you said that time matters. I think that is a lot more difficult these days because everything is so instant. When we grew up, we couldn't just put it out to the world in a second. No. But now you can, and you sometimes probably do it without thinking. It's easier. I love the tools you have, you know, to be able to get your music out there, whatever message it is that you're wanting to put out.
And what is so scary nowadays too, not to sound like an old fart,
but we are.
What I feel is scary is that it doesn't go away.
No,
you know,
no.
That picture I think it's Notting Hill. You know, when Julia Roberts is so offended or she's upset about the photographers taking pictures of her and Hugh Grant. Yeah. And he's like, well, it's just a picture. It's gone with tomorrow's paper. But she's like, no, they're going to dig it up whenever I do something. And today that actually is true for everyone that's on social media.
Once it's out on the web, you're not going to be able to get it down either.
Also, we're talking Start Scrappy, which of course, it doesn't have to be perfect.
No.
And of course,
No.
then there's going to be some scrappy stuff out there. So maybe that's an add-on to Start Scrappy. Start Scrappy, but think about if it aligns with you.
Yeah.
Mostly it's about listening.
It is. And I think your authenticity isn't a risk. It's a strength. And I think it's the thing that actually will move you forward.
Every episode, we take on a new experiment inspired by the work of Anne-Laure Lecomte, nudging ourselves in small steps. Sometimes we fail. Sometimes we add new cool habits to our toolbox. I told you last week about my experiment. Yeah,
I told them the name of it in our reflection session.
Yes. It's called Blossoming Through the Eyes of the Authors. I Choose. I like being dramatic, and I like having a good title.
Yes.
I take time at least 4 times a week to read literature. Any book I feel drawn to. And I've just finished a Swedish book called The Phenomenal Women at the Grand Hotel. It's by Ruth Kvarnström Jones. And it's one book that I've looked at for a while, but I've had so many, must reads, like, and especially study books and that kind of thing. And this one also connected to historical people like Sarah Bernhardt and prominent Swedish people of the last turn of the century, as it's set around 1905. And one of the main characters, Wilhelmina Skog, was actually from Fårö, which is a small island on top of Gotland where I am. And it was really, really good. I can really recommend it. We talked about women's rights and that kind of thing, and the suffragettes and all of that. It's going on at this time. So there's quite a bit of that in the book as well as, it's about the Grand Hotel in Stockholm. In there, I've been there several times, and I love that. I love that you can get stories inside something that's real. Well, anyway, it's a really, really, really touching and good book.
Oh, good. I'll put that on my list.
Yes, do. And the next book that's going to come in the mail, I think, today is All the Way to the River by Liz Gilbert, one of our favorites.
Her new book, yes.
Yes, and that's quite a shocker. I heard her interview in the Oprah show, and this book is brave. After Eat, Pray, Love, she's the go-to woman of self-help. But here she shows just how very human she is, dealing with the death and addiction of a loved one and realizing her own codependency and addiction to love. She left the man in Eat, Pray, Love.
Yes, right.
Got together with her best friend, Reina, a woman. And Reina was clean at the time, but an addict, and she had a cancer diagnosis. And I think it was like she had 3 or 6 months to live, and they got together. Well, it's a very, very human story. So I'm looking forward to that. And of course, you can check out the interview with Oprah, which was really good too. So that's what I'm going to be doing for the next couple of weeks. I'll be reading real stories of the authors that I choose. So we've come to the end of this session, and we can go much deeper into authenticity, of course. We've just scraped the surface of it, but I think it's a really interesting subject.
It is so interesting. I think let's save all this for our reflection session.
Yes, let's do that. Yes. Good thinking. So next time we will reflect. But the week after that is on October 17th, if I'm correct. I'm so thrilled. We will finally touch on mindfulness and productivity. Woo-hoo. Yes, and you will get to share some of the insights from your book, The Mindful Songwriter, I believe.
Yes, I'm excited about this.
Yes, me too. Do you want to tell us something, or should we keep them hanging?
No, I'll keep you hanging.
Let's do that. So thank you all.
Yes, thank
for
you.
Listening.
Thank you so much for listening. And remember to follow us on social media at bigdreams.ekta. We're also on YouTube at bigdreams-ekta. Join the workshop on October 23rd, and remember to sign up for it, as it fills up quickly.
It does.
And also sign up for the weekly newsletter of inspiration, Backstage Wednesday. And if you like this podcast, please help us grow by following and sharing with your friends. That way, we can keep going.
But foremost, remember, show up,
Speak up.
and never skip the victory dance.
Things that make you happy is what life is all about. It's the little things that matter, that take you through the day. A smile from a stranger, that brighten up your day.